In the heart of an ancient forest, hidden from the eyes of the world, there lay a small, secluded village known as Eldoria. Eldoria was a place steeped in mysticism and magic, where legends of old were woven into the very fabric of the village's existence. Among these legends was the tale of a forbidden love spell, a spell so powerful and dangerous that it was said to bring unimaginable consequences to those who dared to cast it. The spell was known as amor vincit omnia, meaning love conquers all. It was a spell that could bend the will of another and create an unbreakable bond of love. However, the spell came with a dire warning. The price of casting it was the life of the one who cast it, or the one it was cast upon. Isabel Hart had always been drawn to the mystical and unknown. After losing her parents in a tragic accident, she decided to leave her bustling city life behind and start anew in the quiet, enigmatic village of Eldoria. She hoped that the peaceful surroundings and the village's rich history would help her heal and find solace. Isabel found a quaint cottage on the outskirts of the village and began to settle in. As she explored her new home, she couldn't help but feel a strange sense of familiarity, as if the village had been waiting for her. One afternoon, while walking through the village square, Isabel noticed an old bookshop with a sign that read Arcane Tomes and Mysteries. Her curiosity piqued, she entered the shop, and the scent of aged parchment and incense enveloped her. The shop was filled with ancient books, mystical artifacts, and curious trinkets. Isabel was immediately drawn to a dusty old book bound in leather, titled The Grimoire of Eldoria. As she reached for the book, a voice interrupted her thoughts. "Ah, you have an eye for the rare and powerful," the shopkeeper said, his eyes twinkling with intrigue. He was an elderly man with a long, white beard and a knowing smile. Isabel smiled politely. "I'm just curious. I've always been fascinated by magic and the unknown." The shopkeeper nodded. "This grimoire contains many secrets of our village, including spells and rituals passed down through generations. But be warned, not all magic is meant to be trifled with." Isabel's curiosity got the better of her, and she purchased the book, eager to uncover its secrets. Little did she know that her decision would set her on a path that would change her life forever. That evening, Isabel sat by the fireplace in her cottage, carefully flipping through the pages of the grimoire. The book was filled with spells for healing, protection, and divination, but one particular spell caught her eye, the amor vincit omnia spell. Isabel read the description of the spell, and its dire consequences, with a mix of fascination and apprehension. The idea of a love spell intrigued her, but the warning about the potential cost was unsettling. As the days passed, Isabel couldn't stop thinking about the spell. Her thoughts were further complicated when she met a charming and mysterious man named Gabriel. Gabriel was a local historian with a deep knowledge of Eldoria's legends and history. He often visited the village library, where Isabel spent her afternoons studying the grimoire. Gabriel and Isabel struck up a friendship, and Isabel found herself drawn to his intellect and charisma. Their conversations were filled with discussions about magic, history, and the mysteries of Eldoria. Isabel couldn't help but feel a growing attraction to him, but she was unsure if he felt the same way. One afternoon, Gabriel invited Isabel to visit the village's enchanted garden, a place said to be imbued with magical energies. As they walked through the garden's winding paths, surrounded by vibrant flowers and ancient trees, Isabel felt a sense of enchantment. "Isabel, there's something I need to tell you," Gabriel said, his voice earnest. "I've enjoyed our time together, and I find myself thinking about you often." Isabel's heart raced. "I feel the same way, Gabriel. But I must confess, I've been studying a spell from the grimoire, and I'm worried about the consequences." Gabriel's expression grew serious. The grimoire is a powerful book, and its spells are not to be taken lightly. "What spell are you referring to?" Isabel hesitated before revealing the amor vincit omnia spell. Gabriel's eyes widened with concern. "Isabel, that spell is dangerous. The price it demands is too high." We must find another way to understand our feelings for each other. Isabel nodded, grateful for Gabriel's understanding and wisdom. Together, they resolved to explore their connection without resorting to the forbidden spell. Despite their resolution, the temptation of the Amor Vincit Omnia spell continued to haunt Isabel. She couldn't shake the feeling that the spell held the key to unlocking a love that was destined to be. One stormy night, as the wind howled outside and lightning illuminated the sky, Isabel sat alone in her cottage, the grimoire open before her. The pages seemed to beckon her, urging her to cast the spell and seize the love she desired. Isabel's thoughts were consumed by Gabriel. She imagined a future where they were inseparable, bound by an unbreakable bond of love. The allure of the spell was irresistible, and despite her better judgment, she decided to cast it. With trembling hands, Isabel gathered the ingredients for the spell, a lock of her hair, a drop of her blood, and a rose from the enchanted garden. She placed the items on an altar and began to recite the incantation. As she spoke the ancient words, a sense of power surged through her, and the air crackled with energy. The room grew cold, and a shadowy figure appeared before her, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "You have invoked the Amor Vincit Omnia spell," the figure intoned. "But be warned, the price of this love is steep. A life must be given in exchange for the bond you seek." Isabel's heart raced with fear and excitement. "I understand the consequences. I am willing to pay the price." The figure nodded, its form flickering like a dying flame. "Very well. The spell is cast. The bond is formed. But remember, the cost will be paid in due time." With those words, the figure vanished, and the room returned to normal. Isabel felt a strange sense of elation and dread, knowing that she had set into motion a chain of events that could not be undone. The following day, Isabel met Gabriel in the village square, her heart pounding with anticipation. As soon as their eyes met, Isabel felt the power of the spell take hold. Gabriel's expression softened, and a look of profound affection crossed his face. "Isabel, I can't explain it, but I feel an undeniable connection to you," Gabriel said, his voice filled with emotion. "It's as if our souls are intertwined." Isabel's heart soared, but a pang of guilt gnawed at her. She knew that the bond they now shared was the result of the forbidden spell, and the price of that love loomed over her like a dark cloud. As the days turned into weeks, Isabel and Gabriel grew closer, their love deepening with each passing moment. They spent their days exploring the village, sharing stories, and dreaming of a future together. But the shadow of the curse hung over them, a constant reminder of the price that must be paid. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace in Gabriel's cottage, he took Isabel's hand in his and looked into her eyes. "Isabel, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me?" Tears welled up in Isabel's eyes as she nodded, her heart filled with both joy and sorrow. "Yes, Gabriel. I want nothing more than to be with you." As they embraced, Isabel felt a chill run down her spine. She knew that their happiness was tainted by the curse, and that the price of their love would soon be exacted. As Isabel and Gabriel began to plan their future together, the sense of foreboding grew stronger. Strange occurrences began to plague their lives, objects moved on their own, doors creaked open and shut, and cold drafts swept through their homes. Isabel knew that the curse was manifesting, and she feared the moment when the price of the spell would be paid. She confided in Gabriel, sharing her fears and the true nature of the Amor Vincit Omnia spell. "Gabriel, I cast the spell to bring us together," Isabel admitted, her voice trembling. "But the price is a life, either mine or yours. I don't know when it will happen, but I can't bear the thought of losing you." Gabriel stared at Isabel in shock, his mind racing to process her words. The woman he loved had used dark magic to bind them together, and now their love came with a deadly price. His heart ached with a mixture of love and fear, and he struggled to find the right words. "Isabel, why would you do this?" he asked, his voice filled with anguish. "Why would you risk everything for a spell? Tears streamed down Isabel's face as she tried to explain. I was desperate, Gabriel. I thought I could control the magic, that I could have you without any consequences. But I was wrong. The magic is more powerful than I ever imagined, and now we are both in danger. Gabriel took Isabel's hands in his, feeling the cold tremor of her fear. We'll find a way to break the spell, he said, his voice resolute. We'll do whatever it takes to save each other. Determined to find a solution, Gabriel and Isabel sought the help of a renowned witch named Selene. Known for her vast knowledge of dark magic and curses, Selene lived in a secluded cottage deep within the woods. The journey to her home was arduous, but the couple pressed on, driven by their love and the hope of breaking the curse. As they approached Selene's cottage, the air grew thick with the scent of herbs and the soft hum of incantations. Selene herself emerged from the shadows, her eyes piercing and wise. I know why you've come, Selene said, her voice calm and knowing. The curse of a love spell is a dangerous one. It binds not only hearts but souls. To break it, you must understand the true cost and be willing to sacrifice everything. Isabel and Gabriel listened intently as Selene explained the intricacies of the spell and the steps they would need to take to break it. The process involved a series of rituals, each more dangerous than the last. The final ritual required a sacrifice, a life given freely to balance the scales of the curse. Is there no other way? Gabriel asked, his voice filled with desperation. Selene shook her head sadly. The magic you used is ancient and powerful. It does not give easily, and it demands a heavy price. With heavy hearts, Gabriel and Isabel began the first of the rituals. Selene guided them through the process, ensuring they followed every step with precision. They gathered rare herbs, chanted ancient incantations, and performed ceremonies under the light of the full moon. The rituals were physically and emotionally exhausting, testing their resolve and their love for each other. As the days turned into weeks, they felt the weight of the curse bearing down on them. Despite the hardships, their bond grew stronger, and they found solace in each other's presence. One night, after completing a particularly grueling ritual, Gabriel and Isabel sat by the fire, holding each other close. The flames cast flickering shadows on their faces, and the air was filled with the scent of burning sage. I don't regret loving you, Gabriel whispered, his voice filled with emotion. No matter what happens, I want you to know that. Isabel's eyes filled with tears as she kissed him tenderly. And I don't regret loving you, Gabriel. We'll get through this together, no matter the cost. As the time for the final ritual approached, the reality of the sacrifice weighed heavily on Gabriel and Isabel. They knew that one of them would have to give their life to break the curse, and the thought was almost unbearable. Selene prepared them for the final ritual, her demeanor somber and resolute. This is the last step, she said. The sacrifice must be given willingly and with love. Only then will the curse be broken. On the night of the final ritual, Gabriel and Isabel stood together in a sacred circle, surrounded by candles and symbols of protection. Selene chanted the incantations, her voice rising and falling with the rhythm of the ancient words. Gabriel looked into Isabel's eyes, his heart breaking at the thought of losing her. I love you, Isabel. I would give my life for you. No, Gabriel, Isabel said, her voice firm. I cast the spell, and I must be the one to make the sacrifice. It's the only way to make things right. As the ritual reached its climax, Selene held out a ceremonial dagger, its blade glinting in the candlelight. One of you must make the choice, she said, her voice filled with the weight of centuries-old wisdom. Gabriel and Isabel exchanged a final, tearful embrace, their love stronger than ever. With a heavy heart, Isabel took the dagger and stepped into the center of the circle. I love you, Gabriel, she whispered, her voice steady and resolute. I will always love you. As she prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice, Gabriel's heart screamed in silent agony. He couldn't bear the thought of losing her, yet he knew that this was the only way to break the curse and save them both. Just as Isabel was about to make the sacrifice, a blinding light filled the circle, and a powerful force knocked her back. Celine's voice rang out in a tone of astonishment and reverence. "Stop! The magic, it's responding differently than expected," she exclaimed. "The bond between you is stronger than I realized." Gabriel rushed to Isabel's side, helping her to her feet. "What does this mean?" he asked, his voice filled with hope and confusion. Celine studied the circle, her eyes wide with realization. "Your love for each other, the purity of your willingness to sacrifice, has shifted the balance of the curse. There may be another way, one that doesn't require a life." A sense of hope filled the air, and Celine quickly instructed them on a new ritual, one that involved channeling their love into breaking the curse. It required immense focus and a deep connection between them, but it offered a glimmer of hope. As the new ritual began, Gabriel and Isabel held hands, their hearts and minds united in a single purpose. Celine guided them through the incantations, her voice a steady anchor in the sea of magic. The air crackled with energy as Gabriel and Isabel poured their love into the ritual, their bond serving as a beacon of light in the darkness. The shadows around them seemed to waver and dissolve, and a sense of warmth and peace filled the circle. With a final, powerful chant, the curse shattered, and the oppressive weight lifted from their souls. Gabriel and Isabel collapsed into each other's arms, tears of relief and joy streaming down their faces. "You did it," Celine said, her voice filled with awe. "Your love was stronger than the curse. You have broken its power." With the curse broken, Gabriel and Isabel returned home, their hearts filled with a newfound sense of freedom and hope. They had faced the darkest of magic and had emerged victorious, their love stronger than ever. As they settled back into their lives, they knew that the experience had changed them. They had learned the true power of love and the strength that came from facing their fears and standing together. Their love, once cursed, had become a source of light and inspiration, a testament to the unbreakable bond between them. They vowed to cherish each other every day, knowing that they had been given a second chance to build a life together. Years passed, and Gabriel and Isabel's love story became a legend in their town. People spoke of the couple, who had faced a deadly curse, and had triumphed through the power of their love. Their story inspired others to believe in the strength of their own hearts, and the possibility of overcoming even the darkest of challenges. Gabriel and Isabel lived a long and happy life together, their love serving as a beacon of hope for all who knew them. They never forgot the lessons they had learned or the sacrifices they had been willing to make for each other. Their legacy lived on, a testament to the enduring power of love and the belief that, no matter the cost, love could conquer all. If you enjoyed this heartfelt and suspenseful tale and want more engaging stories and content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you stories that ignite your imagination and keep you on the edge of your seat. Thank you for being part of our storytelling community.